Anybody who's familiar with Quentin Tarantino knows that he's really good at making really great movies, some of the most iconic and well recognized films in all of cinema. And Pulp Fiction happens to not only be my favorite movie of his, but one of my all time favorite films. He's made some of my other all time favorite movies, such as Kill Bill and Django Unchained, but this one to me stood out a lot because of how unique it is compared to his other films. And that's really saying something because he's really good at making films that are very unique in terms of his own style and his own approach to storytelling. And Pulp Fiction follows the story of a bunch of different characters, but the way that we follow their stories throughout the film, they kind of intertwine with each other. They kind of come together into one big piece. And it's honestly done really well by Quentin Tarantino, the way in which we follow these stories and how these stories progress over time is very, very unique. And it's kind of hard to say what this film is actually about because it's kind of a weird one. It's a really weird one. I couldn't really explain the plot to you fully myself because we're following three different character stories. We're following the rogue cops, the two cops played by Samuel L. Jackson and John Travolta. They're not really cops, but you know. So we're following them. Then we're also following Marcellus Wallace's wife and Marcellus Wallace. They're two pretty important figures in this movie. They're the ones, or more specifically, Marcellus Wallace is the figure that kind of ties everybody's stories together. And then we also have the story of a washed up boxer, a former boxer played by Bruce Willis. And um, it might not make sense to you the first time watching how these three stories intertwine with each other, but once things come together towards the end of the movie, you start to understand it. You'll definitely start to understand it a lot more, and it's such an entertaining movie. For one, it's got a whole bunch of pop culture references and quotables, specifically in regards to the scenes where they're talking about where Samuel L. Jackson is talking about different foods. You know, uh, Big Kahuna Burger and John Travolta talking about what they call a Big Mac in different countries. The film has a lot of very quotable dialogue that many people still quote to this day. For the people who are obviously more familiar with this movie and have seen it, but it's a pretty big film, so most people are familiar with the film, and most people have seen the movie. So it's very iconic in terms of the pop culture references and kind of its impact on cinema as a whole. And again, it's crazy because this is not the type of movie that has like a straightforward story or it's very simple. It's kind of a film that exists to showcase what makes Quentin Tarantino such a great director, because it's a well told story, or more specifically well told stories throughout the runtime. There's a lot of gore. There's a lot of swearing, obviously. There's a lot of uses of a certain word that I don't think I can really say on here. But he has a very unique style, and he often tends to stick to it for pretty much all of his movies. Um, you sit down and watch a Quentin Tarantino movie, and without even knowing, you're kind of just like, okay, yeah, I know who this guy is. If you watch Kill Bill and then afterwards go watch Django Unchained, you'll sit and you'll think, yeah, even without knowing Quentin Tarantino's name, you'll sit and you'll think, yeah, this one guy directed both of these movies. It makes sense, and you can see it. You can see it. You really, really do see it. So I think it's incredible what Quentin Tarantino is able to do as a director, and I think his movies are actually truly, truly something special. In terms of where this movie would rank on my list of my favorite movies of all time, which is a video that I still have to do sometime in the future, I would say this is comfortably a top five movie of all time for me. I don't know what it is, but it's just Quentin Tarantino's style very much I very much mess with it. I mess with it a lot. So I'm very biased towards his films as well as David Fincher as well. I'm very biased towards like specific directors, visions and their styles. So when I watch a movie of theirs, even if it's not their best work, I still I still have like a personal love and I have a special place in my heart for it because I love the way that different directors have different approaches to filmmaking and it's very very unique and this film happens to be one of the most unique movies I've ever seen. Um and it just happens also to be Quentin Tarantino's most iconic film and also his best movie ever. This is his best movie by far. I wouldn't say by far. It's pretty close, but yeah, this film is absolutely incredible. It is an incredible, incredible film. Um, if there were any negatives that I would say about this movie, there was one scene in particular in this movie that made me extremely uncomfortable. Um, if you've watched this movie, you probably know which scene I'm talking about, but it was very, very strange. Yeah, I can't really describe it because I might get in trouble on YouTube, but it's it's weird. It's weird to say the least. Quentin Tarantino, like, for as like great of a director as he is, like some of the scenes like in his movies can be very very strange and off putting. Um, so yeah, it's a bit weird. It is a bit weird. Um, and so all I can really say is that Pulp Fiction, yeah, this is a special movie. If you've never seen this movie before, you should definitely go check it out. Um, if you're not into like kind of this like weird, bit of a strange way of storytelling, if you're not a fan, if you've seen Quentin Tarantino's previous films and you're not a fan of his style, then you're probably not going to like this movie and you're better off just like not watching it. But if you do, then definitely give this movie a watch. You will absolutely love it. If you love Kill Bill, if you like Goodfellas, if you like uh, Django Unchained, then you're absolutely going to love this movie. And that's pretty much it. I just wanted to talk about Pulp Fiction, and I will see you guys in my next video. Peace.